Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to the School of Radiance podcast. I'm your host, a humble human on a mission, here to help you both look and feel your best. We have an exciting returning guest here because I adore him so much. We have Rico Caveglia joining us again here today on the show. I have a feeling he's going to become a regular contributor because he truly is an expert in the space of health, wellness, particularly in the space of physical fitness and also vitality. And I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about him here. And I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my personal story of how physical fitness and exercise and recovery has really benefited me, especially over these last few months with being really dialed in with my nearly daily fitness routine and what I've experienced: more energy, better skin, more balanced hormones, and really kind of what it takes to show up and create routines that you're going to stick with, especially with the upcoming season with all the holiday foods and treats and social gatherings, giving you some tips to stay on track and look at maintaining your physical form and your routines in a very practical way. So Rico Caveglia has a chronological age of 82. However, his fitness age is 35. And if you're watching this, you can see that he's got great posture, he's got great smooth movement, and just has an excellent body composition to him. He is America's healthy aging trainer and creator of the Ageless Living Lifestyle, the Vitality for Life online training program, the Fast Fit 17 fitness system, which we're going to be talking about, and the Fearless Aging podcast and TV show. He is a speaker, author of 29 books, DVD programs, and a personal trainer and health coach for 41 years. He's a multi-gold and silver medalist in the California State Senior Olympics and plays drums in a rock and roll band in San Diego. You can learn more about Rico Covellia over at agelesslivinglifestyle.com. And one of the cool things about Rico is that he's very dynamic and passionate in his presentations. And this is going to inspire you through education and proven tips and strategies that you can start to use immediately to improve your health and well-being for life. Welcome back to the School of Radiance podcast, Rico. It's great to have you here. And of course, how are you today? And what is radiance to you?
Hello, Rachel. So nice to be back with you. Wait, oh, there you go. I lost your picture. Yeah, so great to be back with you. Yeah, radiance. When I think of radiance, I think that I believe that we're all here with a purpose, and everybody has something great to share, and so it's about shining that light of what you are all about and what you uniquely have to share with other people to make it a better world for everybody. And so if you want to be radiant, you got to just open up and let that light shine, and that's what radiance is to me.
Amen, brother. How eloquently stated. And when we live a life of purpose, you've probably heard the saying, a purpose driven life. I
Mhm.
would say that those individuals absolutely shine the brightest. They're a little bit more clear, concise, and deliberate with how they approach their life and how they care for themselves, whether that's through their fitness, their nutrition, their recovery, being on point with their sleep, family time, having fun, and also the other thing I do find with those who are dialed in with their self care and their fitness is their lives tend to be a little bit more organized. Do you think that that discipline in life and accomplishing tasks and living your purpose is related to also having discipline with regards to physical fitness?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because what I found, I think we discussed this in our last interview, Rachel, is I think the biggest key to self-care and taking care of your body and your mind and your fitness is living your purpose. So when you are living your purpose, you know what your purpose is, and you're excited about your life, and you're living your purpose, then you realize, hey, I want to be as healthy and as energetic and as vital as I possibly can, so I can go out and make a bigger difference, and it also just to enjoy your own life. So yeah, absolutely. It's key. It's just because then you realize you got to get organized and you've got to have some discipline if you're going to function optimally, so you can really live your purpose.
Absolutely. I'd love to talk briefly about the mental health benefits to physical fitness. I was online the other day and there was a speaker in the psychological space talking about how so many men and women are really struggling with mental health and
Mhm.
depression and anxiety. And I would say for me, going to the gym at the end of the day is one of the best things for my own mental
Yeah.
health because I'm actually forced to be in my body for anywhere
Hmm.
from 1 to 2 hours at a time, and I love it. And then I feel so great afterwards. So what's happening to the body and to the mind? Because I know you're an expert speaker also in the fitness and mental linkages here. What's happening to our bodies, to our minds, to our energy after we've completed a great workout?
Well, when we exercise and we get more oxygen into our brain, and when we're stimulating all of our energy centers, it creates what's called endorphins. Endorphins are just another hormone, and endorphins is what's called the feel good hormone. It just makes you feel good. When you're moving your body, you're getting more oxygen, you're getting more circulation. Uh, when you're stimulating your muscles and and all your organs, it releases those endorphins, and that's what makes you what's called, it makes you feel good. And so one thing I like to always tell people, one of the reasons that we feel maybe sluggish or fatigued at the end of the day, and we think that we're tired and we don't have energy to go out and do some exercise or do any fun thing to enjoy yourself, is all you really have to do. I mean, unless you're a construction worker, right? You've been working hard all day, then you are tired. You should come home and do something light, maybe swim or do some yoga or something like that. But for most people who sit in front of a computer all day, you're using your brain, which uses a lot of blood sugar and for metabolism, and so you got that buildup of lactic acid in your body, and that's why you feel fatigued. So all you have to do is like you do, go to the gym, or you don't even have to go to the gym. I mean, it's a good idea, but if you just went for a brisk walk or swim or ride your bike, then you'll breathe and sweat, and you'll get rid of all that lactic acid. You'll just rejuvenate yourself. So and stress, just talking about how many people think they're so stressed. Well, the biggest reliever of stress is to go on and move your body and exercise and get more oxygen and improve your circulation. That's the best reducer that we know of.
And I'd love to ask you from the masculine perspective, when a woman is happier and say they've had this endorphin release and they're smiling, they're extra engaged, they're extra in the present moment in communication and connection, does that make someone more attractive?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, it makes them more radiant, right? Absolutely, it definitely makes you more attractive. I mean, uh, I don't really know how to say this, but I'm surely not attracted to someone who is not not only physically active or and feels and exudes more energy and aliveness. It's definitely. I mean, I think that's very sexy and attractive. Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing that. I wanted to drip this in because, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of listeners are here to learn how to have better skin. And with that, we're wanting to boost our level of attractiveness.
Hmm.
And having a healthy body composition, when we look healthier, that's what makes us more biologically appealing to the opposite sex. If you take
Yeah.
a look at someone, and I'm just going to say it how it is here, and someone is overweight, their skin is red, inflamed, they have red and lots of swelling and edema and darkness or redness and darkness around the eyes, and they just look really kind of soft, and they have a lot of excess weight around their midsection. This does not make someone look healthy. And to be a more desirable partner and to be more attractive, giving off this, exuding this vitality and vibrancy and health is, I think, more powerful to add to someone's level of attractiveness than even just having clear skin and a great hairdo and a, beautiful, well put together outfit. I think that our physical form and then also the expressions that we have on our face is something that truly outperforms youthfulness in younger individuals, because I'll see this in individuals like yourself who are 80 and up, and it's just how they carry themselves with their posture, their body composition, the expressions, the positivity that they exude from their face. I think that that has the ability to actually outperform on an attractiveness level great makeup, stylish hairdo, and a stylish outfit. What are your thoughts on that? That
Oh,
this component is, it
yeah,
transcends age.
I totally agree. Again, you know, well, you know how we are. I mean, how guys are. We always look at women, and we look at them, and the first impression, we're thinking, oh, is this lady attractive, or is she sexually attractive? Just we're being honest here, right? You do. You look at somebody. I mean, you can say this nice person, but right away you say, well, yeah, but I'm not really attracted to her physically because she looks kind of soft or not in good shape or not really energetic and all those things. So yeah, it's not about what the clothes or your hairdo and all this things or all that. The first for most guys, I think it's true. For most impression, the first thing we look at is, are they physically attractive? Physically. So I think it's so important. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also how we carry ourselves with
Hmm.
soft, regulated gestures as a beautiful, radiant, feminine woman, exuding that peace and that comfort and that sort of nurturing capacity. And then for men, looking like that strong protector, provider, able to be a leader and able
Hmm.
to really withstand and weather the storms as a man. So when I'm looking at a man and sort of evaluating
Hmm.
their level of attractiveness as a potential suitor,
Hmm.
I am looking for a good body composition. I'm looking for a lean waist. I'm looking for essentially not too much around the midsection, because what some of
Yeah.
those things tell me actually is low testosterone,
Yeah.
right? If there aren't a lot of muscles there, if they're heavy around the midsection, if their chest is kind of fuller but it's not from muscles, that's the telltale signs of some low testosterone. So for the gents listening, take inventory of how you look with your physical body, because starting to lift heavy is a great way to in and of itself just boost that testosterone. So I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about some of the ways that we can look at starting a fitness routine. I've seen some fun things on social media about gym rats evolution from week one to month one to year one, and what that looks like. And in your opinion, if someone isn't in a regular fitness routine, what's a great way to start? And maybe what are some of the resources that you have to help someone out just to get started right now?
Well, the biggest excuse that people make, number one excuse is that I don't have time, I'm too busy, and we all know that that's totally bogus. I can tell you that's totally not true at all, because I've worked with as a being a personal trainer with lots of really busy, effective CEOs who are really busy and successful, and they take the time because they know that not only is it going to help them. Well, first of all, if still their main thing is how successful they're going to be and how much money they can make, well, they realize that the more energy they have is going to give them the opportunity to be more successful financially or anything else in their life. So some of the most successful, busiest people really take the time to take care of themselves and to exercise as well. So uh, I think your question was to what could they do to, well, first of all, I think you just got to take some time to think about that. Change your mindset and realize. I mean, we know all the In fact, I have a thing here. If we get a chance, we can go through it. The 7 big reasons to exercise regularly. There's just so many ways that it improves your mental state, your physical state, your financial state, everything. It's going to improve everything in your life. So first, you got to realize, okay, I see all the benefits of this. So how can I get started? And again, you don't have to jump in full both feet, but just if you just start, realizing the most important thing is to move your body in some way every day. So if you just go out for a walk or ride a bike or swim, just do something that recreates, or go dancing, or take some kind of a class. Just move your body. Start by just getting the movement, and then the more movement that you have, you'll begin to see how much better you feel already, and you have more energy, and you'll start to look better. And then you can say, well, maybe I should get into doing some resistance training too, and I got to do some to improve my mobility and my flexibility. So just begin, and by moving your body, and then you'll get some really good results, and then you'll say, oh, this is good, I better start, I can add some more things to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just getting started. I remember the first time I started working out again, which was late August, and I'd been doing personal training for many years with trainers, did some fitness shoots and all of that, was kind of in the pro athlete world for
Mm-hmm.
about a third of my life. And then I was in 2 car crashes, and
Uh,
I could not work out to the same capacity as before. So I had to start gentle. And what you mentioned about maybe starting with some classes, like say for example a spin class or swimming or getting outside and hiking and walking, maybe a little bit of jogging, even just like a 30-minute walk after your
mhm.
dinner or a 10-minute walk
Yeah.
after each meal. That's great for your blood sugars too. And there's some longevity research on adding walking on an incline
Hmm.
as a really easy way to do some cardio. So week one, you're going to be maybe kind of intimidated just a little bit. You're going to have your music, you'll have your water bottle. And then what happens is you gain that confidence of how to use
Yeah.
equipment, knowing what your body can do. You start to add new things. Maybe you'll make some friends at the gym, maybe do a session with a personal trainer just to check your form and things like that. And then I find out about 1 month in, you end up starting to see the results, especially when you're adding lifting weights and adding the resistance. You start to
Hmm.
see a little bit of a shift in your body composition. Maybe you're looking less soft, you have more muscle definition. And then something happens. I know it did for me at about that 2, 3 month mark. I was like, I'm really going to kick things up a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
going to start to add a pre workout, and I'm actually using a really good one that I'm evaluating at the moment. Pre workout, adding in the creatine, and really being on point with sleep and recovery.
Hmm.
And also, I find at that 2, 3 month mark, you might start to get a little bit more dialed in with starting with full body workouts, like doing upper body and legs, and a little bit of cardio at each session when you're first starting out. And then you start to get a little bit more deliberate with focusing on specific body groups.
Hmm.
So, say, for example, I'll focus on shoulders, or the next day I'll focus on back, or the next day I'll focus on arms. And for women, we tend to do legs a little bit more frequently to get those glutes up and, not so much have broad, big shoulders and chest and biceps. And so, adding the legs in a little bit more frequently, and cardio a couple of times a week, that's kind of the evolution of what will start to happen. And I know it happened with me with getting a little bit more specific and intentional with focusing on muscle groups and then allowing those muscle groups to have a couple of days of recovery in between working them again. What are your thoughts on that in sharing sort of my progression and sort of this in general progression of when someone starts to work out again
Yeah.
from week one to a couple months in?
Yeah. The good thing about it is, when you exercise, and particularly when you do it properly and you do it on a consistent basis, and you can't fail. That's the best thing. I like to always tell people, I like to, sometimes when I used to go out and speak, I would say, uh, I'd mention, if there was one thing you could do that would give you all these things, give you more energy, reduce your stress, make you sleep better, improve your mental acuity, reduce your risk of heart disease, slow your aging process, give you more self-esteem and a better self-image. All you had to do was do it, and you would definitely get all those benefits. Would you do it? And everybody goes, yeah. Well, guess what that is? That's physical exercise, physical movement. And so, absolutely, I mean, you can't fail. You're going to progress. You're going to get the results if you stick with it. But one thing I will add, I think it is real important, if at all possible, uh, even if you just had a few sessions, with a qualified personal trainer or someone who has at least been exercising for a long time, it can help you, because a lot of people start and they're not even doing the right things for what their goals are, or they're maybe doing something in the wrong way and they end up injuring themselves, so then they quit, or they're just not getting the results right away, and so then they just drop out. So that's why it's like anything else. I mean, you get a you don't go to court without a lawyer, right? Or you don't, get a real estate. You want to buy some real estate, you better talk to a realtor. So get a professional's help to get you started, so you're doing things in the right way, in a safe manner, and so you will get the results right away, and then you'll stick with it, and then you'll be able to really enjoy all the results. But again, the main thing is you can't fail if you do it. That's the best thing about it.
And it's funny you mentioned failure because I've been kind of playing around with some different ways of working out, and we've probably all heard, doing the three sets of 10 to 20 reps at a time. And one of the things I was doing was actually working out to failure, was doing almost as many reps as I can until I couldn't anymore, in an effort to actually gain more muscle in specific muscle groups. So, say for women, when we're looking to sculpt our bodies, actually having more in the shoulders and more in the glutes is great for that hourglass form. And then abs and calves every day. What are your thoughts on abs and calves every day?
Uh, Well, if you wear you know how you see some ladies that have good calf muscles from wearing all the high heels, but that throws your body out of alignment. That's really not good for you. Well, I don't think it's pretty, when you're 20 years old, you can do certain things every day, but I don't think you need to do any particular muscle group every day, except your heart. You can train your heart every day, but I think it's not. It depends on how intense you're working out a muscle. But really these days we know at least 2 days in between. Anytime you train a particular muscle fairly intensely with at least 3 or 4 sets, you need to give it a couple of days rest. So I wouldn't train everything. What I recommend people do, you need to do some aerobic activity and some movement every day, and you can definitely do that. But you need to change that up too. I mean, you don't go out, you don't need to run 5 miles every day, but do something different. And you need to stretch. If you want to be flexible, you need to stretch every day, because we're all sitting too much and we're too stationary. So you got to move. But for strength training, or for building muscle and toning your body, usually about 3 times a week is good. And although you can work out more, but like you said, you can break it up. I like to do like push muscles one day and then maybe pull muscles the other day. Push muscles are like chest and shoulders, and then and triceps, and then pull muscles are like back muscles and biceps and those sort of things. So you can do strength training every day, or several days in a row, as long as you're using different muscle groups.
Yeah, I love how you explain that, the push and pull of different muscle groups. Like we want to do that. But one of the things I really like about your fastfit17.com with your videos and PDFs for full body workout, using your own body weight, is that there's no excuse. And starting to activate those muscles in kind of like a more gentle way, just to reactivate them, because what Arnold Schwarzenegger likes to say is shock the muscles, right?
Mhm.
But we don't want to shock the body out first. You don't want to get too sore when you first start working out. Otherwise, you're going to be like, oh, I need to take like 3, 4 days off. So I like the approach that you take in your fastfit17.com. It's totally free, everybody, is starting with body weight, and then at some point starting to add more of that resistance training with either at the gym or a couple dumbbells at home. We can do so much with even just a few dumbbells at home, which,
Yeah.
you know, no excuses, right?
Yeah, I like to start all of my clients. I mean, unless they're already been an experienced exerciser, on just learning to do what I call functional fitness, just using your own body weight. And really, we need to work on our posture and alignment and our breathing and all those things, and how to do the movement in a proper way. Not only so you'll get the best results, but you won't injure yourself as well. So I highly recommend, first just learn how to use just your own body weight for resistance, and you can do a complete full body workout. And that's why I have a whole video to show you how to do uh, on my Fast Fit 17 program. Uh, just using your own body weight, and doing them in a slow movement, slow controlled. I have a saying that I always tell my clients: slower is harder, slower is safer. So when you move slow, it's very unlikely you injure yourself. The only time you actually want to do anything in a fast movement is if you're training for a specific sport. But just for overall all functionality and strength training, you want to do things in a slow movement, and that way it's harder and it's much safer. So start out by just learning how to use your own body weight for resistance, and then as you progress and you have a lot more confidence and you're getting you got some good benefits. If you want to add a little bit more muscle mass, so here's another important thing: if you just want to be stronger, like what's well, strength training kind of covers everything, but really real strength training is where, like power lifters, where you lift real heavy weight in just a few reps, and that's how you build a lot of strength. And I don't recommend that for most people unless you're an athlete or you're training for some particular. But if you want to gain more muscle mass, then you'll do uh, anywhere from 8 to about 12 reps, and you want to take it to failure. In other words, so you want to find the weight. If you just say you're doing a dumbbell curl, you want to find a weight that you can curl maybe 12 times, and the last one's like, ooh, I just got it up, Yeah, so you want to take it to failure, like you said, what you've been doing. You showed me your bicep. That's how you're building that bicep. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Well, yes, I'm
Yeah,
quite happy with my biceps here. I got
yeah. Look out.
I'm solid right now, like my
Yeah.
core, everything. And one of the things that exercising again has really done for me is build my confidence back. And I'm
Hmm.
so grateful
Hmm.
to be able to move my body because for years I couldn't. I was in one car crash in 2019
Wow.
and T-boned again in 2021. Neither were my fault. And now I drive a big SUV, so I feel very safe. And
Yeah.
that's important as a woman.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
in my college Honda Civic when I first got rear-ended or back-ended, and that just was terrible. And having more muscle is really good. Like in the event that something happens, that you have a little bit more protection around your bones. And one of the things that can happen as we age, if we don't focus on gaining our muscle and self-care and nutrition and great sleep, is it's either this lift or be lifted,
Hmm.
right? And women lose muscle quite quickly, especially after age 35. Women can experience something called sarcopenia.
Hmm.
And actually, having more muscle, it's very difficult for women to look too buff.
Right.
And a lot of women think this, but actually, having muscle is one of the best things you could do for your metabolism and keeping your weight on point, your body mass index on point, your hormones. But the other thing I want to mention is the importance of nutrition. And when I started to do more carnivore, not to an extreme, but really pushing my protein intake to about 100 grams, all the way up to about 130 grams of protein a day, that in and of itself really started to shift my body composition. So I did
Hmm.
that, I think, for about 9 months. Then I added a very regular resistance training and cardiovascular training, wind sprints on the treadmill, and then lots of stretching as well. And in a month, I started to see huge changes. 2 months in, now 3 months in. But what you mentioned was really important, was actually adding variety to your
Hmm.
cardiovascular training.
Hmm.
I'll max out the treadmill. I'll do 8 wind sprints, 20 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and I feel great. It's kind of my warm up actually. But then I went to do a bike ride last weekend and was biking up a hill. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gassed. So thank you so much for saying that we need to add variety to
Yeah,
our cardiovascular training. So you mentioned swimming, we mentioned hiking and jogging, we mentioned cycling, I mentioned the wind sprints. That's really, really key. And do you find that when people just do like one thing forever and then they do
yeah.
something else, like it's just not functional for
No,
everyday life?
absolutely. Your body adapts. If you just do the same thing over again, your body pretty much adapts, and you don't you make very little gains. You can barely maintain. Yeah, so you always want to break things up, and usually if you have a certain workout routine, whether it's strength or cardio, maybe stick with that for at the most maybe 2 to 3 months at the most, and then shift it over and do something different. You're still working the same muscle, you're still doing something, cardiovascular aerobically or strength, but do something totally different, and you get a lot better results. And it's a lot more fun too. Variety is always, the old saying is variety is the spice of life. So yeah, do different things. And I was going to tell you what, when you're doing uh some high intensity workouts, what you can do, what I like to do is, like, one sprint can be just all out going fast as you can, and then the next one should be like a hill climb. Well, you can do it on a treadmill too, or on a bike. One could be just at a level where you can get your RPMs up to maybe 120, 140. You're just pedaling really fast for 30, 45 seconds. And then the next interval could be where you crank up the resistance like you're doing a hill climb, and maybe you can only keep it at about 60 RPMs. And that way you vary that too. So one time you're hill climbing, one time you're sprinting. So there's many different ways that you can break it up. You can vary your workout. Yeah. And it's more fun.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, variety is the spice of life. And for those individuals who I've observed since I started my career in medical aesthetics in 2011 to now, is they do have that variety in their routines, and they
Mhm.
also pay attention to strength, so lifting
Mhm.
muscle building, flexibility, and stability as well. So you mentioned things like yoga, and balancing, I think, is really key too. So if
Absolutely.
you're balancing and you're kind of like, oh, why am I so shaky? I know a big thing for me was adding electrolytes.
Mhm.
And the other thing is, if you're having difficulties with maintaining, say, a yoga posture or some type of stretch, consider what's going on with your nervous system and also underlying traumas. What is still trapped in your body? This is why I really feel like there's a beautiful esoteric benefit to exercising, is you're just kind of like working off excess energy that you've accumulated mentally and also around you. It's just, you just exercise, you're in the present moment, and it's very grounding. But notice maybe what is inhibiting your grounding. Are you wearing a smartwatch? Are you around a lot of Bluetooth and EMFs throughout the day so that your nervous system is dysregulated and your blood flow is impaired? Are your blood sugars stabilized? This is huge. Are you fueling your body enough, or are you doing too much intermittent fasting so that when you go to work out, you actually don't have enough energy to do what you want to do and you're not refueling afterwards? I'd love to talk about refueling
Mhm.
and what you recommend people do pretty much right after their workout so that their body is in the state to actually gain that muscle.
Yeah, it's a little bit controversial. Some people say this and that, but basically, uh, the good time to really is to refuel your body, particularly with protein, is after you finish your workout. Absolutely. Before a workout, well, again, it depends on what kind of a workout it is, but maybe a little bit of some form of carbohydrate can give you a little bit of blood sugar lift, and it can help you a little bit. But but it's much better to really refuel with a, some real staples of real food, of high quality protein, and have a real good healthy meal after you work out. That usually works best for most people. And I just want to say, because you're talking about nutrition, you can, if you're working out really hard now, and you really got into your exercise program, but you're still eating junk food and you're not getting good nutrition, it's not going to work for you. I mean, you'll do okay for a little while, especially if you're in your 20s, but if you're not refueling your body, see, exercise puts a strain on your body. It's actually, and it depletes a lot of nutrients when you exercise strenuously. So if you're not refueling your body with good quality nutrients from real whole foods, your body's going to break down, and you're going to get sick, and you're going to cause a lot of problems. So nutrition is so important. It's more important than the exercise, but you got to do both. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that because I really did get my nutrition on point.
Yeah.
And then I added the physical fitness, and that worked really well for me. And then the other thing post workout is have a tablespoon of honey and maybe a couple of dates just to get a little bit of sugar in your body. That can be supportive to reducing the cortisol because we do get a little bit of extra cortisol when we're working out. And then, yes, having a high protein dinner. I do a lot of burgers and pizza and stews and these meat protein bowls,
Yeah.
and a variety of protein. We're talking salmon, beef, bison,
Bison.
venison,
Yeah.
a little bit of liver as well, lots of eggs. Those are all really great
Yeah.
sources of protein. And we can make it fun. So I'd love for you to share with everybody, Rico, how can you support them and what are some of the resources that you have available?
Well, as we mentioned, if you're just starting out, and again, you think that you're real busy and you don't have time, I know you got 17 minutes every other day. You can so go to fastfit17.com, and guess what? We're still keeping it. It's only $17, so you get my whole video, show you how to do a complete full body workout in just 17 minutes. It comes with a PDF, shows you all the drawings and all that as well. So that's one way to start. The other thing, though, if you're just really interested into knowing how you're doing, how well you're aging, and you're interested in an overall wellness program, well, go to my main website, agelesslivinglifestyle.com. And there we have a free aging assessment. It's not very long, it's fun. I think you'll enjoy it. And I like to tell people, if you don't like your results, right there you can book a call with me. It's a free call, and we'll just have a friendly conversation, and we'll discuss whatever health or fitness or nutrition, whatever challenges you're having. And I'll do my best to give you some quick and easy solutions. And then also, I do have online wellness coaching programs. If you're interested, we can talk about how we could actually work together online, and we'll develop a complete mind, body, and spiritual wellness program for you.
This is what I really like about you, Rico, is that you get life. I mean, look at you. You have a fitness age of 35 and you're 82. I mean, you're clearly doing something right.
Yeah.
And we don't want to look at physical fitness as something that could potentially injure us or we push too hard. We want to get into a rhythm. And especially when things happen, like the holidays come up or like big family events, and it's just kind of like those quote unquote busier times of year with more dinner engagements and holiday festivities and parties and gatherings, you really need to make sure, everybody listening here, that you have good boundaries around what you're saying yes to and maybe some of the things you need to say no to so that you keep up with your diet, you keep up with your exercise, you keep up with your recovery. Because if you want to improve your physical form, sleep is essential. If you're eating the wrong
Yeah.
foods, if you're not sleeping enough, you're basically throwing your gains out the window.
Yeah.
So I love your approach to all of this, but it really does start with just getting into a routine and getting into a rhythm. And if you're not there yet, I just want to encourage you that this is, I think, one of the most important things that you can do. Because for me, getting back into this, I can honestly say I feel better and I feel stronger and I feel more confident than ever, especially once you start to see these results. So we
Absolutely.
all start somewhere. Rico, you have some fantastic ways to get people started right away. I love that you offer a call as well to support people. The physical fitness is not my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is how can we look our best with skincare. And of course, my skincare is available on the schoolofradiance.com on my skin shop that I've created to be as clean as possible. There's also a carbon 60 serum, this one right here, that you can actually take internally, and it's a potent antioxidant. So when you're working out, you still want to make sure you're having a lot of antioxidants in your system so that you can counter those free radicals that happen through just daily exposure to oxidative stressors in your environment
Hmm.
so that you can still continue to move forward with positive momentum. I will say, though, the importance of a healthy body composition and a pleasant demeanor, say getting those endorphins from working out, it's going to make you more attractive. So I
Absolutely.
hope that you all got a lot out of this episode here on the School of Radiance podcast, just to kind of encourage you, to nudge you to get back in shape again and really have good boundaries around your self care and keep up with your daily routines. Do this by yourself, do this with your partner. You're going to have more energy for your kiddos and your family that you have too. You'll have more vigor to have the energy you need to accomplish your goals, say, for example, at work, and then also having the energy to have more fun in your life too, because that will make you more attractive when you're smiling and having more fun and you have this more peaceful, rested, confident demeanor. Very powerful
Wow.
aspects to beauty and our attractiveness.
Wow, that was really well said. I was going to mention a couple of things in there, but you said it all, Rachel. That was really good. Yeah. Again, when you're eating healthy and you're getting your sleep and you're working out on a regular basis, then you can do a lot more fun things. You can have a lot more fun. Like you can play drums for 3 or 4 hours and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you play drums, I play guitar, I play
Yeah.
piano, and stuff like this is so good for our mind too. Working out your
Yeah.
body, you're going to be getting your brain firing, you're going to be getting more oxygen, but also having more fun, having the energy to actually enjoy life
Hmm.
is everything so that we are living this purpose driven life. And you might think, oh, I don't have the energy to exercise. Actually, I find exercising gives me
Exactly.
much more energy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Energy. Energy is like money. You have to spend some to get some. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe instead of that afternoon extra coffee at about 2 or 3 o'clock, maybe go for a little spoonful of honey or a couple of dates
Yeah.
and then have your workout a little bit later so that you sort of get that second wind of energy to make dinner and enjoy the rest of your evening, which usually we clock out at the end of the workday. And then we still need to enjoy our lives too with our significant others, our families, and just again having that spice of life and having fun. Thank you so much, Rico, for being back on the show here.
My
Rico
pleasure.
Caveglia. And for everybody tuning in, you can work with Rico and at his website and definitely take advantage of his Fast Fit 17. So head on over to agelessliving.lifestyle.com and then also the fastfit17.com as you can access that video and PDF for a full body workout and even book a call with Rico as well. So thank you everybody for joining us here on the schoolofradiance.com. I'm here to support you in living your best, most high vibe, radiant, vibrant life. Any of your skincare needs, skincare strategy, routine optimization, that's achieved in a one-on-one session. Join my seasonal tutorials to learn how to actually apply your products and what to do with each change of season to become your own skin pro in 7 weeks through expert tutorials. And then the membership, where we go really deep in some of the different aspects that allow us to be our most radiant version. And I do have an entire lesson in there as to exactly what I do at the gym for my physical form to have the body that I have that I'm very grateful for. And love you all so much. And I will see you all again right here on the School of Radiance podcast.